Good morning, Susan. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very good. I got a little bit of delay on your feed, but hopefully that'll clean up soon.
Hopefully, yes. I've been yelling at Comcast for the past week.
Oh, nice. You're out in the
Yeah.
woods, right? You're out in Westport?
No, I'm in Fairhaven, so close enough. Definitely the woods.
Still the woods. Yeah.
Still the woods. Still
Nice.
the woods,
So,
unfortunately.
so what has been your strategy for COVID-19 to entertain yourself and stay busy?
I have 4 children at home, so I am testing the capacity of my liver.
No kidding. Four
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
I had no idea. I knew I knew you had kids. I knew you did a lot of coaching and training, but four is a lot. How do
Yeah.
you manage all that?
Well, I'm lucky they're older. So, like my oldest is 20, then I have an 18-year-old, 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
Oh, no way.
So they're all kind of like doing school and, all of that. So that's been helpful.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been interesting, and I've been giving them a lot of house projects. And I actually hired all of them because class is only 3 days a week for like an hour, and that's
Yep.
about it. So my daughters are like, can't work right now. I'm like, well, I have work. I can give you work. Don't worry.
No
So
kidding. So you said the class, so they're still in school, but it's only 1 hour, 3 days a week.
mhm,
So before we'd send them to school for 8 hours, 5 days a week, but
yeah.
the teachers are saying that 3 hours a week is enough. That's basically what we're teaching them,
Yes,
is what they're saying.
yes,
No shit. Well, that's
yep.
interesting.
All right, isn't it? So yeah, so I also enrolled them in the Khan Academy as well. So that's like kind of helping where they're getting an extra 2 hours every single day of class, which is
Yep.
stuff they're not teaching in school anyway. So this is good because they're getting extra, extra help, which is great.
Right.
Um, and then I'm also having them do stuff with me, like technical stuff. So I have my son doing video work, video editing. My daughter is working on photography. My youngest daughter, my 13-year-old, is working on photography for me. She's actually going to be doing my headshots. So super fun. Older daughter's working on website stuff. My middle daughter is working on affirmations. She's helping me make all my affirmations. So now
Right.
she's like, Mom, I actually feel really good about myself with all of these. I'm like,
This is
perfect.
how it works.
Exactly. So I'm giving them all something to do, like work-wise, so that I can, give them some money at the same time that they're also keeping busy.
Right.
'Cause it's crazy otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of the secret to success is keep all of your people busy. Just
Yes,
them
delegate.
going in the right direction.
Exactly. Well, having them do what they needed to do allowed me to work on my success journal, which I literally yesterday I was able to build out 79 pages
Nice.
into a success journal. So 79 pages, and then it like will kind of copy from there. But like we're talking like, a book like this big, like a really nice size success journal. And I built out the components of it yesterday because I was
Right.
able to delegate all the other work out. So worked out.
I know a thing or two about books. Wrote one myself here.
Yes.
Uh, Let me see. I got up to 193 pages. So
Mhm.
70 is about half of it, but it's a good. So what is a success journal? What are you looking to build? What is it?
Okay, so the success journal is basically something that you can utilize as a business owner. So they have success journals out there for mindset, for achievements, like planners, all that type of stuff. I wanted to incorporate something that was built specifically for business owners. So the success journal is going to help you kind of hold yourself accountable throughout the process while also keeping really clear on your mindset, your goals, your vision, your why, having all of that stuff really, really close by to make sure that you don't lose focus on what your true why is. And also really kind of give yourself a driving force while keeping track of your schedule, making sure that you are appropriately utilizing your time and, what I call lumping. A lot of people will say, oh, well, I do Facebook at 9 in the morning, I do LinkedIn at like noon, and at like 2 in the afternoon, that's when I go onto my Twitter. And I'm like, no, you need to lump social media into one area and not hop and bop.
Right.
Put it out there, schedule it, move on, do something else. Otherwise, you're going to constantly feel like you're not catching up, you're always going to be behind. Lump in the life skills. So I have them assess what it falls under. Is it business strategy? Is it sales? Is it going to be falling into your business structure, your marketing? What's it going to fall into? And start taking those areas and lumping them together,
Right.
so that you actually feel accomplished at the end of the day. So it's a workbook that I'm building out.
Yeah, that's extremely, so wow, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
It's extremely valuable. There's two major things that popped out to me, although there's a lot of meat in the middle of it as well. At the beginning, you mentioned your why, how important it was to keep, business owners, entrepreneurs focused on their why, which most people think they know what their why is, but they don't actually know what their why is. They know what their what is, or their how, but the why is it's so slippery. It's so easy to lose track of. And so having a way to get back to it often is powerful. And then that little piece you said at the end, it's skipping me now. There was a little lag that jumped in. I got distracted by it, but that's me. The putting it all together, putting all the pieces, and then you mentioned, I'm sorry. Well, either way.
Coding it and lumping
it. Lumping it all together. I'll come back to this. We're going to circle back.
Okay.
So the success journal is just a great place for everybody to put, not everybody, entrepreneurs, to put the goals and the processes and the systems and separating marketing and sales. And this is, paperwork and front end, back end, like keeping it all separated and going through and tackling. And yes, it's coming back. So Facebook. So, jumping into it, we can convince ourselves that we're busy because we jumped on this and wow, hey, I felt busy. But at the end of the day, you don't feel accomplished because it's like, well, I look and I respond to 15 messages. Does that count as something? Or if I'd waited till 4 o'clock to respond to those 15 messages, does it have the same effect as if I'd done it in the moment the way I continue to do it? And one of the things that I'm known for is I don't actually have any notifications on either of my phones. So I have no clue what the world's doing until I decide I want to know what the world's doing. Mm-hmm. And it's allowed more productivity through just, paying attention on one thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what I'm constantly telling people right now is that now is the time to be productive. Focusing in on your systems, your structure, and your strategy. Like your 3 S's are absolute key right now, because if you can't sell, if you're not able to really market right now because you're not able to meet with people, like if you're in the type of world where you need to interact with people to be able to do your job, then you need to backtrack and fix all of the stuff that you've had no time to fix before. Now you have an abundance of that. So anytime that you have an abundance of everything, of anything at all, no matter what the abundance is, you need to take that time, take whatever it is that is showing you that it's abundant right now, and take advantage of that. Like if you have an abundance of health right now, take advantage of it. Do something healthy. If you have an abundance of time, utilize it productively.
Right.
You just have to be aware of what you have around you, and instead of looking at it as a bad thing,
right,
look at it as a good thing.
Yeah, this whole being at home, staying in your home space is a great opportunity to change your environment, to really look at my house and say, hey, is this effective for you? Is your home set up for work? Clean up those spaces and build assets for yourself, right? Like environment is stronger than willpower. So if you can change your environment at the house and make it more conducive to your work, that's an asset you've adjusted. We were talking about it yesterday with my business partner. And some of the other assets you can build are, systems, your website, your different tools that you would use, skill sets, right? If there's a thing you've been waiting to learn because you'd earn more, now's the time to learn it, right? Now's the time to jump in. If you're waiting for coaching, now's the time to get your coach, because the things that you're going to be doing are necessary in the future. But right now it's like, this is an opportunity to build an asset, build some sort of many assets if you can. Get that training course, write that book, right? Get those things written now, because later on, once we can sell again, we're just going to be selling. And we're always going to have excuses. But like now is the time to build assets. It's very cool. Exactly. I like that. That's good advice.
Exactly. So a lot of what I've personally been working on, because I still have my clients and I'm still working with them and making sure that they're still in a good place. but a lot of what I've been working on right now, I took my Be a Beacon course for small business owners and I tweaked it. And so that was a 16-week course originally. It was $2,000, and it was literally covering every aspect, right? So it was hitting all of the main marks of what you need to really restructure your business. So what I did was I tweaked that, turned it on its ear a little bit, squished it down to 8 weeks instead of 16 weeks.
Much better.
Automating a lot of it, but now I'm dropping.
And for some reason, that is the longest lag we've seen. Susan, you still there?
Has the ability to not just do a Q&A with me, but also work with each other. And we're there to support each other and work together and stay strong and get through whatever it is that we need to get through while restructuring things in their business, working on their ROIs, figuring out their budgets, going back through all of the stuff that you forget about because you're doing your day-to-day stuff, right? You're selling, you're marketing, you're doing whatever, and you forget the basics that you have to come back and fix or focus on, or the systems that you don't have set up. I can't even tell you how many people are telling me, oh yeah, I'm a service-based or I'm a, product-based. I have no idea based off of who my clientele is unless they're in my website. And I'm like, if you're service-based, you need a CRM system. You need to keep track of your clientele, period. It's basic, right? And I'm seeing time and time again that that's not happening for people because they're like, oh, well, I'll just do it later. And I'm like, well, guess what? When later comes and you need it and you need to access it, guess what? You won't have the time to do it.
Right.
Get it done. And also like getting through all of the aspects of repositioning themselves on social media, setting up the right profiles, even advertising to the right people. I've seen people that are advertising to the wrong group of people, or they're advertising to everybody. I'm like, do you have any idea how much that's costing you? They're like, yeah, I realize
it's ineffective. Yep.
$8 weeks, it's half the price. I cut it down to $9.97 instead of the $2,000 price point that it was. 2 lessons every week, 1 Zoom call a week, and then ample support through a Facebook group. And it's just constantly feeding. I have 3 cohorts that are starting at one time because it's me and then 2 of my coaches that I've brought on to work underneath me. So they're each going to be doing a cohort, and we're going to start like right away.
Right.
So I have ample amount of workbooks, worksheets, everything you can imagine. And the success journal that I've been working on is actually going to be a free gift when they sign up.
Oh, nice.
Me. So they get access to that before anybody else does. Before it even hits the market, they get access to it.
Nice. Yeah, so that's a very good scalable system, right? That's something that obviously you didn't come up with that overnight, but it's something that you've built over time. And now you're just at the point where it's like, you know what? Especially now, the world needs it, especially locally. There's really nobody else doing something like this locally in the South Coast, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Like, I'd say that the coaching industry has kind of skipped over these areas. And so it's nice to have somebody who's treating it like a business and not just doing 1 or 2 clients and saying, oh, well, I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, and then going back to their day job. So
Exactly. I mean, I focus mainly on consulting, but I know that there's like this ample field of small business owners that's they're missing. They're not able to afford working with a business coach, or if they are working with a business coach, they might not be giving them the most value. Right. So I'm treating these small business owners as I would my consulting clients. Yep. I'm teaching them all the same structures and strategies that I would use with medium to large size organizations,
right,
so that they can scale and they can grow and they can move from a small business into a medium business and into a large business, and they can do it gracefully because their systems, their structures, and their strategies will support them to do that.
Right. Yeah, I pick on, so I like, this is a word you use, you said small business owners, and I always pick on small business owners, the title itself. They're business owners becoming millionaires is So I
I
hate
love
using
that.
the word small because it's like I don't even want anybody to ever consider themselves that. It's just business owners becoming millionaires, and you're expanding and you're growing, and so you're helping them do that. You're building uh, big
Yep.
business owners who are becoming millionaires. I love it.
Yep. That's the plan. That's the plan. The first thing is getting them out of their own damn way and letting them realize that that's their natural path.
Yeah, yeah. That's the CRM, right? Not having a CRM is because you're staying small. Like
Yes.
that's the whole intent of not having a CRM. That's the reason you kept it, that way. Is you're just afraid of playing bigger, and then getting them to forget the things that they think are real, right? Getting like for losing their mind a little bit, forgetting all the crap, and getting them to think a little bigger is probably harder than teaching them the actual stuff that works.
Of course. Of course. Well, a lot of what I incorporate in is executive mindset
Yeah,
because you can have a great mindset all day long, but until you have an executive mindset,
right.
you're not in that place of growth. You are in a place of always recognizing when there's scarcity, never recognizing when there's abundance.
Right. That's
So,
what the A stands for, abundance.
yep, I'm telling you, I know it. That's what it comes down to, though. People don't get into that mindset of, abundance is a real thing.
Right.
It exists. It can be in anybody's life if you choose to have it.
Right.
I've seen people that go from living in a car to, six figures within a year because they get into the right mindset of making it happen. And if you can get into that mindset, you can literally make anything happen. Anything you're
Absolutely.
looking for, anything that you want.
It's absolutely true. When I was broke, see, when I wrote the book, Broke to a Quarter Million,
I love it. I love it. I love it.
it's true. I was living in my brother's house, right, sleeping on his couch, and made 17,000 the first year, made 100,000 the next year, and it was just a mindset shift. It was just like, you know what? I don't live in a scarce world. I live in an abundant universe, and the more you think about it, the more that muscle's worked, the more life sends your way, the more abundant you become. So it's like you got to keep them flexing that muscle just with little stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually, before you know it, perception is they're still doing little stuff, but the world sees as those are big steps.
Of
So
course.
just a little bit of that. I mean, what you're doing is so valuable.
Well,
So,
thank you.
so you work with some real estate agents, you work with some real estate investors. What are you telling them right now during this? Because I'm sure it's the same advice. And maybe some of your people invest in stocks. Maybe they invest in real estate. What are you telling people right now as far as controlling the panic, controlling the fear, uh, making decisions? Where are you at with that?
The biggest thing that I'm telling people is, first off, as far as like real estate agents go, the first thing I'm expressing to them is the importance of listening. You need to listen to your customers and your clients right now because they have real concerns, they have real issues, they have real problems. You need to listen to learn and not listen to respond.
Yep.
When you're listening to learn, you listen in depth, you hear them, and you can address those concerns, and they will remain your client. If you listen to respond, you literally hear them for between 3 to 7 seconds, and you're already coming up with the response of what you want to say to reassure them. And guess what? That's not going to reassure them right now during this time. There's not much that's going to reassure them during this time unless they know for a fact you're there, you're caring, and you're going to be respectful.
Right.
If they're scared to have people walking through their home right now, be vigilant. Understand, okay, I understand where you're coming from. So here we have this option.
Yep.
My business partner actually developed an option which I thought was absolutely fantastic. He's offering live streaming for
Exactly.
people that it's basically he comes in, it's just him and the one agent, and that's it. And they do a full live stream walkthrough where people can ask questions. So it's a live, full, open house,
Yep.
and people can interact and everything else, and it's absolutely perfect. And that you're going to
Interesting. So I can't hear you. A little bit of lag, but hopefully, well, let me see if there's a reason why the sound cuts out every so often. Try to say something now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I
What
lost
were you
you.
just saying? Oh.
Like I said, I've been yelling at Comcast for about a week.
Yep. What were you just saying a second ago?
So what I was saying is basically just focus heavily on trying to come up with realistic solutions for your clientele. Some of them are struggling, some of them are freaking out, some of them are just, pulling their houses off the market entirely because they're not sure of what to do.
Right.
When you're dealing with real estate investors, I'm dealing with a lot of those right now that are super scared. And the only thing I can say is don't stress, breathe, because right now, people are home, they're safe, they're fine, and things will pick back up, and people will still need a place to live at the end of the day, no matter what. So, yes, the market might shift, price points may change, buyer-seller market may shift a little bit, but people will still need a place to live at the end of the day. So don't stress it. Things will pick back up. Things will change. I unfortunately feel like things aren't going to
Can you hear me now? How about now?
Oh, sorry, did I lose you again?
Yep. Okay. So as you said, things will change, and then.
Okay, sorry. I feel like things will change back, but it's get back to a new normal. It's not going to go back to the way things were. We're going to all be completely different than we are right now, and we were before. We were very out there, and I'm hugging everybody because I'm just a hugger. Even if you don't like hugs, I'm still hugging you until you get comfortable. I'm one of those.
I'm a hugger. Yes.
I'm a hugger too. Yeah, so it's great. It's great, except for now, like. I'm like, my hug tank is empty. So I'm like hugging my kids nonstop. And they're like, Mom, enough already,
Social distancing.
Exactly. They're trying. I'm like, go to school. You can practice social distancing because no one else will be there. All right, go.
Yeah.
When we get back to, interacting with people and everything again, it's going to be very different. People are not going to be as willing to give you a hug, like shaking hands maybe, but, it's going to take a while before people get back to normal, if you will. And I really feel like that's not going to happen until probably on the beginning of June, before we actually start interacting with everybody the way that we used to. And I feel like the market's going to survive that. I don't have an over-ending bad feeling about like the real estate market not making it through this. It's not, it's not a year-long type of issue here. It's going to bounce back, and every business, almost every business. Let me put it this way: almost every business should bounce back, because unfortunately, I have been offering strategy sessions to small business owners, giving them an hour of my time, which I typically charge like $1,500 for. So instead of charging from them for it, I've been giving that away to small business owners that need a plan, that don't have a plan in place. So I've been giving them that, and unfortunately, I've had over 40 calls, like 43 calls now, and out of that, I've had to tell 9 people that unfortunately they're not going to be able to reopen.
Wow.
They just started in a bad place before this all happened.
That sounded like it was going to be very interesting. What they started in a bad place before this all happened, and what happened? What was it? Can you hear me now?
Yes, again. Sorry.
Okay. So they started in a bad place, and they're stuck there, or their business just you don't think it can survive?
Yeah, they started in a bad place, and then everything happened with COVID-19, and unfortunately, there's no coming back. So they're going to have to shut it down. They're going to have to close their doors. Some of them have the ability to restart, others don't. So it's hard. It's definitely hard, and only the strongest businesses are going to survive, which is why I'm telling people 3 F's, really focus heavy on that, because even if you're not making sales, you need to be prepared for making sales.
Right.
Because if you're not, you're done.
It's absolutely true. So we as real estate investors, right? Ron and I were looking at our portfolio and saying, thank God this happened now and not 6 months ago. And we were looking back at 6 months ago and it's like, you know what? Like 6 months ago, we would have been fine too, but we would have been way smaller because we just took on a huge portfolio. We took on 35 units. And, we would have missed out on that opportunity. We wouldn't have had the courage to go and jump into something if this was going on. And the banks wouldn't have lent to us anyway. But we looked at like 3 months ago, like right in the middle of the purchase, right as we had closed, right as we were starting the refinances, that would have killed us, right? Like if something like this happened right at that moment, we would have been over leveraged in a really tough spot, and the next couple of months would have really sucked. And now we're looking at it and it's like, man, like there are real estate investors out there who are in between, who are right at that spot, and they're about to get kicked out of the game because 2 or 3 months of this is going to make it very difficult for them. Not everybody's in as good a position as we were, and it's interesting. Just some people will get kicked out, some will come back in. You only lose when you only fail when you stop. But I do see it as an opportunity. We're almost like scavengers, right? We're almost like vultures. We're flying around. We eat the Karen. Like somebody who's not doing well, we're like, oh, that's my house now. So it's there's a little bit of a dark side or
it's become very cutthroat.
A perceived dark side to it. Whereas, we look at it as like, they can't handle it. Cool. We'll come in, we'll clean up their mess. But it can be, so opportunities will come out of all of this. But the biggest concern that I have for maybe not real estate investors, it's new buyers, people who are looking to get into the game right now, because I still encourage buying. I still think this is a great time to do it, is the banks. The banks are having a hard time figuring out not necessarily whether they should do a loan, but what they want to charge for the loan. Because the Fed just dropped all the rates down to zero, and the bank's like, nah, we're still going to make something. We just don't know how much we want to charge and how risky these loans are right now. And they've basically frozen up on everything. They're just not lending money the way they used to. And I don't know if it'll be this week, next week, or the week after when they open back up, but it's been weird. It's been very strange on the lending side. So we'll see. So very good advice. Susan, 3 tips. If you could give 3 tips to people who are basically entrepreneurs, that's your audience, and that's my audience. So entrepreneurs who are looking to improve themselves during these next couple of weeks that are going to be different times. What are the 3 tips you would give somebody?
Focus on your 3 S's, your systems, your structure, and your strategy. Give yourself the time to work on your business and focus on those areas.
I didn't get that one. What was that one again?
Take a damn walk, okay?
Take a walk.
Get out a little bit to a safe place, get some fresh air, go sit out on your porch, go sit out on your deck, get some fresh air, and take some downtime in between all of this, because it is crazy time. So take your mental breaks throughout the day like you need to.
Yep. Very good. Was that 2 or was that 3? Because I might have cut out on number 2.
That was 3.
What was number 2? Sorry. I gotta bring it back.
Okay.
I don't know if the video is going to record those silent spots. So that's why. I just want to make sure I'm getting all of it.
Oh, no. Okay. So the first was focus on your 3 S's.
Yep.
Make sure that your message comes from a place of concern. Make sure that you're coming from a place of being genuine with people. Make that authentic connection. Yep. And number 3 is take a walk. Go clear your head, take a break, and breathe.
I love it. Susan, what is the easiest way for people to get in touch with you? Somebody who wants to learn a little bit more about what you do, the business consulting or a little life coaching, or just wants to figure out what to do in their business. I know you're still offering that 1-hour training session. So how can people get in touch with you? What's the easiest way?
The easiest way is going directly to my website, SuzanneDwyer.com. Keep it nice and simple.
SuzanneDwyer.com. That's SuzanneDwyer.com.
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Stay in abundance. Hopefully I will see you soon instead of over a Zoom chat. But if not, we'll keep doing this. Guys, when you have a choice, always work with the best. Later, Susan.
All right, bye-bye, hon.